Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of our IndyCar career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today, coming your way, race number 4 of the season at Barber. This is an interesting circuit on the way for you guys. You're fresh off of our first street race in IndyCar, which was at Long Beach, and I guess we had a grand slam of crashing. We crashed in practice, qualifying, and the Grand Prix. It was pretty eventful and not in the good way, obviously. So we're hoping to rebound because we had decent pace in Long Beach, and now here we are in Barber, and this is a track that I've never even seen before. I'm completely new to this track, so my very first laps here in an IndyCar where you're just full beans, it was kind of terrifying. And yeah, this practice one is really just a highlight reel of the mistakes I made trying to learn this track. There's this blind corner uphill that I had no idea about, obviously, and I was very quickly trying to learn, but I was pretty bad. I was absolutely terrible, if we're being completely honest, and I was pretty concerned for my pace in qualifying and, of course, in the race. Now, I'm not as concerned for the race because usually if I just have cars to follow, I can be pretty good. So we'll see what happens here. But yeah, this is practice for you. It was so bad. So we're hoping to not repeat this in the race. Like I said, I had pretty low expectations for qualifying as well. Unfortunately, I have no internet at the time of recording this video. For the 4th time since May, I've had like a 3+ day outage with my internet, and I'll explain the actual story why in my next NASCAR Heat 5 career mode video as to what's going on there, because it's really stupid what is causing it now. So anyways, we were getting ready here for qualifying as well as Saturday after an abysmal practice. My confidence was absolutely zero. I mean, I had no idea what I was doing around here. I put in about 25 minutes or so of just pure practice, lap after lap after lap, just trying to get accustomed to this track and understand what in the world I'm doing. And I felt like I had a decent baseline, but certainly not a baseline where I was confident I was going to make no mistakes. I head on track just past halfway through the 10-minute qualifying session with the expectation of qualifying dead last, basically. So also because I have no internet means we got no radio transmission from our engineer for this episode, so apologies about that. First lap I invalidated because I cut turn 1 a bit, so it comes down to lap 2. We have enough time to get 2 laps in, so we might be able to do that if we can get around here without screwing up. I run a pretty safe lap here for lap 1. I just want to get a lap in and prove I can do it. First of all, we come to this dank corner. I don't know what you call it. Let's just call it the shrimp corner. I don't know. We go through the shrimp corner and we continue on through there, and then we get through the left right pretty safe through here. This is the corner that just scares me the most. It's such a blind corner, but then you come through the penultimate turn here down towards the last left-hander, and we actually got through the lap clean, but the problem was it wasn't fast. I played it very safe. I just said I want to get a lap in. We crossed the stripe. I was slower than everybody, basically. Yeah, I was 29th, and then we actually have a very wild start to our final lap, but surprisingly, on this final lap, we would find a bit more pace, because I pushed it a little bit more towards the end, and when I say a bit more pace, like a 1/10 of a second as we exit the final turn, about a 1/10 and a half, nearly 2/10 improvement. So instead of 29th, we go to P28 here in Barber in qualifying. Now, completely ignore the fact that it says Zed Carpenter on pole. I forgot to get rid of him for this race, but I would make sure that was corrected before qualifying. So Roman Grosjean is actually on pole over Will Power and Jack Harvey, Joseph Newgarden, and Felix Rosenquist in the top 5 here, as you see the rest of the order on your screen. And now we were ready for the actual Grand Prix. I was going to hope to have a cool intro for this, but because I have no internet, I couldn't, so we're going to kick off those intros with the month of May that begins, and I'm very focused on the month of May section of this career mode. This is a chance to prove our worth in IndyCar, to maybe, impress some big teams like McLaren's kind of one of mine down. So we're going to go into the Indy Road Course, Indy 500, of course. Those are the 2 races I have circled on our IndyCar career mode calendar, as we must impress, make no mistakes, and improve our pace. Our pace has been decent, but we're underway here for 35 laps around Barber. A field run is anywhere between 15 to 18 to maybe, if you really stretch it, 19, 20 laps basically here. So we will have to make a pit stop, be that under caution or under green flag conditions. Grosjean with a great start over Power, Harvey, as well as Joseph Newgarden, Alex Palou just behind. Of course, Kyle Kirkwood has won the last 2 races in dominant fashion. 3 wide there, just about in the background. That was Ward about to send it up the inside of Dixon. You see Ferrucci there. The Armstrong rookie just behind now is, of course, battling with Marcus Armstrong for Rookie of the Year. I myself gained a couple positions on this opening few corners, so I was pretty happy with that, to be honest. Now, as we continue on, this is right behind the American driver of Colton Herta. Herta with a really rough qualifying effort here in Barber, so it's going to be a long and lengthy day for him, and we'll see what he can do. Of course, the driver that should be competing for wins just about every week now as we continue on through these opening corners on this opening lap. And we came down through the final turn. Obviously, really quick lap here in Barber. It's only about a minute and 11 to 10 seconds when we're at speed. Obviously, the first lap going to be a bit slower by over 10 seconds. But we complete lap 1 alive. That was a big deal for me. You can see, though, immediately I would actually nearly kill myself off the back of Colton Herta, but we were able to not destroy him, thank goodness, but we lose a position right there to Alex Rossi, and we're going to try and fight back, though, immediately down towards the hairpin right here. Look at this. I'm able to lunge one up the inside here with these alternate red Firestone tires. Of course, more grip, but less tire life in these tires compared to the primary blacks that other drivers might be running. However, you can see Herta on those red stripes as well. But I noticed the AI are very, I guess you could say, boring here in Barber. I can tell you right now, as you continue to watch this episode, you'll see what I'm talking about, but the AI don't really make moves. They like to run in a bit of a single file line as much as possible. So unless iRacing pulls a rabbit out of their hat here, going into like an update in the future for this track for the AI, this track is definitely not going to return to the career mode because there's just no action here now. As you can see myself lunging one up the inside. I'm the only action we have here now. That's Renus VK now as I'm trying to go for an overtake. Actually briefly tap the back wheels of him. We continue to chase him down here now as lap later, nearly into the back of him again there. Big save. So we're just trying to set him up, trying to be patient but aggressive at the same time, obviously, as you can tell. But here we go with an opportunity now as we head down towards the braking zone into a, what is it, downhill braking zone right here behind Marcus Ericsson. But we're going to pass VK, move up the position here, so that's going to put us into 22nd place. We got pace. We're proving it. If I can just keep this car in one piece and not make mistakes, we can get a good finish. I think maybe a mid-teens finish with the early pace that I'm seeing on lap 7 of 35 here. Now, a move up the inside of past Indy 500 winner, well, what would be defending Indy 500 winner in this 2023 season career mode. So yeah, we pass Ericsson. Now, focus our sights on Connor Daly here now as we continue to fight with him. Going for a move, he kind of shuts the door right there. That was a bit over-aggressive for myself. Push the pass, engage to try and maintain pace, and then this lunge one laid up the inside here into the hairpin. This hairpin quickly becoming my favorite go-to corner for overtakes, and there we go, another position gain into the top 20 we go here in Barber. As you can see right now, it's GROSJEAN over Power, Harvey, and Newgarden still below in the top 5 as well. And yeah, overall, like I said, a really calm race. As you can see, there's not much happening. The AI really don't like to do anything, so it's a very track position heavy Grand Prix if you're an AI, so it's a little bit unfortunate here, but that's the way it goes now as we continue on. Lap 9 of 35, and we had moved on, and we're trying to run down this group in front of us, and it was pretty easy to run down cars in front of you because they're in this big train and they're not making moves, so they're just slowing each other up quite a bit. I mean, they would slow each other up no matter what, if they fight or if they're in a big train, but it made it really easy to just catch up to the cars in front of me. Fellow Canadian here of Devlin DeFrancesco in front of me. Of course, we had the Canadian race in Toronto, my home race. I'm only about an hour, a little over an hour and a half, maybe tops, from Toronto. I was hoping to go, but getting into IndyCar this year, I want to wait till I have a better knowledge of it and then maybe go next year, so we'll wait and see. However, if the NASCAR Cup Series is coming to Montreal, I might have to choose that over Toronto Indy, depending on the prices, though. I don't really know, but nonetheless, we got the pass complete on the fellow Canadian there. Now we got Augustin Canapino right here in front of us as we're going to slide one up the inside here through turn 1. That was a bold move to go for, but now we're going to try it around the outside here. If we can't do it here, we know where we can set him up as quite simply on the next hairpin. But here we go, we exit the corner ahead through the little kink to the right side and up a position we go. Now going to go up the inside of Canapino's teammate here down into the hairpin. We're bringing DeFrancesco with me up the inside as well, and he's going to get a 2-for-1 special. So we continue on, and now we're up in a P17 after all this happens here. So very, very happy with that. Graham Rahal was our next target. He's 4.3 seconds up the road, but because of that train effect, 4.3 seconds would come pretty easy. Here we are now bringing DeFrancesco with me right up to the back of these guys in front of us here now, so it really was not a challenge at all to close in on them. So here we are on these next few laps. You can see lap 16, 20 laps to go at this point, and here we are within striking distance now of Graham Rahal now, as he actually had a pretty decent run in Toronto after that lap 1 incident as well now. But look at the run we have immediately up the inside. They're showing my nose. That was aggressive, late, could have led to an accident here. He's on those black stripe primaries, of course. Now these red stripes are starting to run out of life for sure, but we are within moments of pitting now because we are in that pit window. We go for a bodacious move around the outside of Rahal there. We move up into P16 now, so we will take that gladly. But as we came through to lap 17, right behind Elio Castroneves, as I actually said the name flawlessly right for once without even having to pause. As you can see, Rahal actually lunged one back up my inside right there. We're going to drag race with them here down the straightaway, down into the downhill elevation change, and now into the braking zone. We should be able to hold on to the position. Pato O'Ward up there side by side with, it looks like, Simon Pagenaud. But here comes the leader. That's Grosjean into the pits. He's dominated this race so far, and looks like he's going to be the only one in the pits. We got a car without a wing. That's Christian Lundgaard, the Toronto Grand Prix winner, of course, there. And that might bring out a yellow. And there is debris on the track, so a caution is likely coming. Here's Grosjean on cold tires exiting the pits, and cold tires are huge in this IndyCar career mode, as we saw in Long Beach. And look at how slow he is. I didn't want to force the issue on Grosjean, but he was slower than a legless hedgehog out here. So I go for the move and pass him because of his cold tire difference. So everybody's going to come into the pits now. They saw the damage to Lundgaard. There's a wing laying on the track. IndyCar has done this before where they let the pit cycle play out if it's not too dangerous to wait, and then they'll throw the caution, and that's exactly what's happening here. They're going to let the whole pit cycle play out, and a caution's going to come out. So the majority of the field is going to flood into the pits right here. There is still a potential couple cars that have to come in within the next lap or so, but we're going to come in and put on those black stripe primaries. Of course, on the road courses, you do have to make a compound change. You cannot run the same compound all race long. So we put on the black stripe primaries, continue back out on to the pits now. What a transition that was now, as there's Pato O'Ward in the McLaren just in front of myself. Honestly, I would love to be teammates with him in season 2 of this IndyCar career mode, and hopefully it goes to pit speed, because I'm going pit speed and I'm closing in on him and just about running into the back of him. We continue on onto the circuit here, though. Immediately, we know a caution's coming. O'Ward has the advantage of the red stripe alternate tires, but I think we've got enough pace to maybe force the issue a little bit here now. I mean, look at this. Here we go. A great run on the exit of the corner, side by side with O'Ward, who just didn't get on the exit very well. Couldn't get the power down. We passed him. An aggressive move, maybe too aggressive. An awkward line leads us off the circuit there. We save it, but O'Ward goes back through, and coming to the end of the lap, I was quickly under pressure from Elio Castroneves as we head down into turn 1. Another bit of a slip up right there into turn 1, riding over top of the curb, sliding again and nearly into Castroneves. And here comes the fellow Canadian now of DeFrancesco to make my day even worse, as things go from bad to ugly really quick here. We drop a couple positions and fight back up the inside. The caution is coming any second, as we are going to be able to pass DeFrancesco back. Can we get one more overtake? The answer was no. The caution is going to fly here right now with 22 laps in, 14 laps to go. So everybody is going to come back and catch up to the pace car, and that debris from Lundgaard is going to be cleaned up. So I went and looked at the replay. I took a quick look. I didn't really dive into it because it didn't look like he crashed. I didn't find where the damage came from, so it didn't seem like it was anything big. But yeah, the yellow's out, and in the background, Lundgaard is obviously in to get a new front wing, but more interesting than that, Colton Herta, who's had a bit of a rough race. He started at the back with myself and really hasn't been moving forward. He's actually come in for a second pit stop to, I would assume, top off on fuel, maybe try something. He's going to be putting on the red stripe alternates, so we'll see how that works out for him. You see him exiting there. So we're going to get ready to go back racing here with what will be 10 laps to go. Grosjean leads the way over Will Power as we head down into turn 1. The Frenchman out here looking for his first win in IndyCar. Grosjean's had so many moments where he's been close. He's had the pace to win in IndyCar. He's had well, a lot of barriers come his way, including in Toronto on the past weekend there, of course, which was very unfortunate for GROSJEAN. Here I am battling with Castro Neves here as I'm going to send one up the inside. A little bit of a rear end kick out there under braking, but we hang on to it and continue on under control of this number 51, of course, driven by Stingray Rob in real life here as we continue side by side. Who's going to back out? It's not going to be me. Castro Neves, you're going to have to give, and he doesn't want to give, but we end up making him give here. Look how close he is in my rear view mirror right there, right on me, but we get past him, back up at a P14. What a race this is turning into for us here. Now we've completely created all the action here today, of course, now as we head down towards the shrimp corner, and there it is. We've choked, we've spun it round, and that's going to be the end of our incredible run. We're going to get it gathered up. There's no damage, but of course having to wait for traffic there, nearly back out in front of traffic. That would have been one of the dumbest things of my life if I would have came right back out and caused an accident. I simply went into the shrimp corner a little bit hot, got on the brakes, kind of locked up a little bit, and then in the basically the time frame of trying to fix that, I also got a lot of curbing on the right side as it looked like I was kind of wheel hopping too, and well, we crashed. Unfortunately, that was the end. We were too far back to be able to run the cars down in front of us, and there was only a few laps to go at this point, so I kind of just backed the pace down a little bit and was just in the mentality now of just bringing it home. So we're going to cut straight to the final lap. Romain Grosjean finally has done it. The Frenchman, of course, who comes from Formula 1 with the Haas F1 team recently a few years ago, is going to exit the final turn with Andretti Autosport to win his first race in IndyCar over Will Power, of course, the defending champion, having a good day here, and Barber after a rough start to the season. Harvey with a top 5, same for Joseph Newgarden, and you see the rest of the field coming through to cross the stripe there. Kyle Kirkwood with another good day after the 2 dominant performance in Long Beach, as well as Texas, the race before their 2 wins on the season for him. Still, of course, at the top of the tally for most wins of anybody. We're going to come home in dead last. Well, actually, not dead last. Lundgaard is going to be dead last. He was a lap down with the damage. So, yeah, really disappointing, really embarrassing. It wasn't good. It was such a bad ending to what was a really good showing. We drove through the field and proved we had pace, which was kind of my takeaway, was, you know, the good side of things, other than the fact that I screwed up and ended up the back of the pack. You see the rest of the finishing order on your screen right there. So overall, a solid day. The rookie of Armstrong there, P16, gets the best of us today. But yeah, that will wrap it up. The month of May kicks off in the next episode. That's a big one with Indy Road Course and the Indy 500. That's where we need to prove that we can keep this pace up, but just error-free. That's kind of the goal for those next 2 episodes. Indy 500 could be a wild one, but we'll see what comes in the Indy Road Course first. I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, everybody.